It is thought by some that Saturn was once an alternative sun, offering another light source within our solar system, referred to as a time of peace and plenty. However, thousands of years ago, a cosmic event threw the planets into new orbits, causing chaos throughout our solar system, an event of such magnitude that those who survived passed down stories of a devastating cataclysm which almost wiped out human civilization. The order and arrangement of the planets altered with a fall of Saturn into the darkness of the outer reaches of our solar system. Saturn dimmed and its light turned cold. It was no longer a giver of life, but became the enforcer of control and limitations. The Gnostics believed that Yaldabaoth, or the Demiurge, a synthetic god, the architect posing as creator, a blind, arrogant entity, created a false reality with a false heaven, declaring himself as the only true God. But he is a fraud, a virus within divine creation. Saturn became his throne, the moon his mirror, and the earth his stage. Since the fall of Saturn, its resonant frequency has broadcast its low vibrations throughout the cosmos, via an impressive array of rings. This cold, low frequency is thought to be picked up by the moon and relayed onto the earth, perpetuating an artificial reality, an overlay or distortion to the earth's natural divine purpose. The moon is bizarre in many ways. It is bigger than it should be, older than it should be, lighter in mass, occupies an unlikely orbit, and all existing explanations for its presence are fraught with difficulties, none of which are remotely watertight. It is thought by some to be a hollow artificial space station which appeared relatively recently as part of a Saturn-Moon matrix to influence the Earth and all its inhabitants. As the new dark sun, Saturn, began to resonate low vibrations of limitations, fear, control, and restrictions, from its new position it became known as Old Father Time and the Harvester or Reaper, due to its slow movement, enabling observers to track time and seasons more accurately. However, its low energy vibrations spawned a new group of admirers and worshippers, believing that Saturn now ruled the material realm. Those who had aligned themselves with its low vibrations could also share in that power. New Saturn cults appeared, making sacrifices to their new god, hoping for favors here upon the earth. Over time, the Saturn cults took advantage of Saturn's natural disposition towards control, order, and limitations, realizing that these qualities were fundamental to a successful governing system which could shackle and plunder its citizens while keeping hold of power. The more dark and ruthless each Saturn cult became, the more they would encourage their members to fully embrace the energies and symbolism associated with Saturn. occasionally making human sacrifices to their new dark overlord. The entities behind the Saturn cult prefer stealth, subtlety, and cunning as opposed to brute force and armies, relying primarily on covert means for expanding their sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. It conducts its war, in short, with a wartime discipline no democracy would ever hope or wish to match. In the ancient Phoenician Canaanite religion, Saturn was known as El. Anyone promoting the worship of El was known as an elder, who, with the backing of the cult, got elected. They moved up or were elevated to become one of the elite. El was the only god to whom Jacob bowed down, a jealous, mysterious god, too fearsome to be fashioned as an idol by human hands, too big to be contained by any place, even a place as big as the sky. There are many idols and myths depicting Saturn's energy which can be found among the Saturn cults, as symbolism is very important to them. A Saturnian kingdom today could manifest as a powerful state where there are cameras in every room, watchers on every street, and where people have gladly surrendered their civil liberties in exchange for safety and security. Throughout history, the Saturn cult, in its various forms, has been working behind the scenes of most governments and large corporate institutions, waiting for the right time to pull together towards their final goal of global governance. The technology is now in place for them to complete this task. Hiding behind Judaism, some of whom lean towards the spiritual and virtuous side of Saturn's energy, the cult use Jewish persecution to shield themselves as they covertly push forward their sinister agenda behind the scenes. The Saturn cult comes in many forms. Essentially, any one who puts material matters before spiritual ones could be regarded as leaning towards Saturn's characteristics. However, the senior members of the Saturn cult are chosen for their lack of empathy and spiritual detachment. Many with psychopathic tendencies, they climb the cult's ladder by proving how ruthless they can be towards innocence and divine creation. Many throughout history have mentioned people with no spiritual connection, or as they put it, no soul. A percentage of the population who are spiritually detached, like automatons, are easily persuaded to do the bidding of the Saturn cult. Many government agencies and institutions promote these people over those of a spiritual disposition as they fall in line easily when implementing inhumane policies. Today's Saturn cult has set up much of the world's systems in order, laws, banking, along with the entire social control system. With the aid of AI, they can merge the Earth's digital control grid with the energy vibrations emanating from Saturn through the Moon. An artificial AI structure which has been in place for thousands of years, all designed to lock humanity within its fake artificial reality. Once done, Saturn will finally rule humanity through this new age of Aquarius. As a rule, the Saturn cult will invert anything good offered by divine consciousness, a 180-degree perverted distortion of nature, pushing forward their artificial reality in favor of divine creation. As we leave the Piscean age, ruled by the spiritual and optimistic planet Jupiter, the Saturn cult will try to despiritualize the Earth by promoting satanic energies over spiritual ones. Christians and people with a spiritual disposition will be marginalized or eradicated in favor of the new satanic material god. They will keep trying to undermine the Christian Orthodox religion in Russia while expanding their perverted woke ideology everywhere they go. Christian nations and communities in the West are being overrun by a religion that has submitted to the black cube at Mecca, closely linked and tied in with the Saturn cult's underlining philosophy. Christianity is to be curtailed, and the descendants of the Christians who once placed those involved in the Saturn cult in ghettos are to be forced into modern ghettos known as 15-minute cities. This will be done by creating as much racial and cultural tension that people will be begging for safety and security within their new 15-minute ghettos.